room, exit out of one of the three doorways closest to you into the main corridor hallway. Proceed calmly to either ends of the main hallway, and you'll find the stairwell midway down the intersecting hallway. Exit the stairwell and proceed to the surface parking lot in the rear of the building near the 408, and remain there until the building is deemed safe and you're instructed by emergency personnel to re-enter the building. In the event of a fire, do not use the elevator, evacuate using the stairwells, and fire extinguishers are located in cabinets mounted in the walls in the main hallway corridor, just outside the front and rear doorways. In the event of a medical emergency, I'm a licensed EMT and I will be the on-duty medical response officer. I will provide immediate medical assistance, and I have directed a meeting attendee to call 911 as appropriate. AEDs are located in the closet, in the center closet, and there's also an AED that's located in the lobby along with a first aid kit. In the event there's any other type of emergency, follow the instructions of our security manager, Andy Walters, or our security personnel. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Woody. All right, Ms. Allison Byrne Escobar, will you please provide the moment of reflection?
She in the hall, Janice?
Ms. Escobar. Yeah. We did move fast. Oh.
I can do a moment of reflection real fast.
Do we trust you?
I'll be very quick.
That'd be great.
That'd be very nice.
That's what a moment is.
This is an audible.
President Gross, Commissioners Clint in the room. Just as we head into this holiday season, I believe we're all very grateful for the blessings that we have, and we look forward to a prosperous new year.
Thank you for that. That was very nice. Thank you for the impromptu. That was great. I'd now like to invite Julio Morales to come forward and lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Let me tell you about him first. Julio served in the United States Air Force for 13 years, achieving the rank of Task Sergeant. He's worked at OUC for 2 years, and his current title is Senior Computer Specialist. Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you all. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Julio, for your service.
Thank you.
All right, the time is now 2:06, and I call the December 12th, 2023 Commission meeting to order. I'd like to acknowledge we have a quorum present here this afternoon. Thank you. Our next item on the agenda is a consideration of the November 7th, 2023 Commission meeting minutes. I'll entertain a motion to waive the reading of the Commission meeting minutes and adopt them as published.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Let's take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. All right, service awards. Mr. Zambito, will you please provide the service awards this month?
No? Yes,
There you go.
yes,
That was it.
okay, very good. President Gross, Commissioners, Mayor Dyer, Clint, I think I jinxed myself the last time I was up here doing this because I said I had Melvin and I hadn't had another one for 5 years. And in honor of Commissioner Calvet, we're going to have 3 today, all from my group. So I would like to have Sean Carroll come forward with his family if they want to come up. Don't know, we didn't discuss that before, but
Yay.
surprised, yeah. So I always like to, see the family. We ask a lot of our employees, and it's good to see the folks that are at home supporting them when they're working those late hours. So Sean's wife, Christy, who is an RN, currently teaches at South Lake High School doing prep classes for students preparing for nursing school. And Carly, raise your hand, Carly. Carly is at Lake Sumter, and she runs cross country and track. Ella is also at South Lake High School, playing softball. And Graham plays basketball and baseball at South Lake High School. Go Eagles, apparently. That's. Oh, well, there we go. Sean forgot. He thought she was still in high school. Okay. I did ask. I didn't just make this up. So, like his kids, Sean grew up playing sports, and in particular, he excelled at baseball. He played at West Orange High School, and then he moved on to play at Valencia. And through the magic of the internet, I dug around, try and find some stuff. I did find an article when Sean was at Valencia. Valencia depending more and more on Carroll.
Whoa.
Yes, this was April of 1991. Sean was a 6'3", 175-pound right-hander. I'm close to that too. It's not with the height. From what I can determine from the article, it was 5-1 that season. They weren't exact about that. I had to put it together with some stuff. 2.25 ERA, 46 strikeouts, and 17 walks. Pretty darn good. So Sean and I did not discuss this, so I don't know what happened in the championship. I won't ask him to tell. It may not have been good. I don't know. So Sean played for Valencia, and then he moved on to the University of North Alabama, where I found another article. This one was about the reunion that you attended for the 25th anniversary of the championship team. There's also a picture of Sean, University of North Alabama. For the crowd, thank you, Mr. Easterling, for providing that to me. Facebook is a wonderful thing. Anyway, so North Alabama, that team posted a 39-18 record, and went unbeaten in the tournament. And they reached the championship game in the NCAA Division II South Central region. So Sean played a little baseball. After that, he decided to give it a go in the minor leagues. Spent some time in the Angels organization, and baseball tough. It's tough to break in. It's tough on the body, and after a while, it's time to come home to Orlando. So that's what Sean did. And when he was looking for employment, he had his buddies who were already working at OUC, guys that he went to kindergarten with, my understanding, who works on the crew with, who said, hey, you should come and apply at OUC. So that is what Sean did. And he was hired on in the apprentice program. And he has worked his way up to journeyman lineman and has been in the transmission part of the organization for 7 years. Let me check my notes. When I asked Sean what project he'd worked on that he felt had the most impact for OUC, he talked about the Stanton to Taft corridor upgrade, which is something, if you're going down the 417, you see the OUC Railroad, you'll see big transmission corridor for us. And it's super important job, and it was something that Sean contributed on, and it really made some significant improvements to the southern part of our transmission system. Hobbies. Like many kids who grew up in Orlando in the 80s, Sean is a Gator fan. I don't know, Clint. Just saying. We got to work on that. Not this year. Okay. He enjoys watching all his kids' sporting activities, playing golf, and he's also being an assistant baseball coach at South Lake, which should prove interesting, right? Graham, you looking forward to that? Yeah. And the family is also very involved with volunteering and mission trips with their church. So, on behalf of the commission, Sean, I'd like to thank you for 25 years of service. Congratulations.
Even at school, my brother played baseball, so I probably didn't bat it. So I'll take it, sir. Probably did.
Hello. All right. Sorry. Adonis Willis, would you please come up? And Adonis and T, his wife, 27 years, making their way forward here. I'm going to wish Adonis a belated happy birthday. His birthday was this past Friday. So, happy birthday, Adonis. Adonis and T, like I said, have been married for 27 years. They have 2 sons who were unable to attend. They have pretty good excuses. Older son Trey is currently in Miami working on his 3rd year of medical school. And younger son Bryce is in Barcelona, which would have been a bit of a commute, also working on a master's degree in the medical field. So very proud of their boys. Adonis, like myself, is a Tampa native, where he attended Jesuit High School. And I did this to Sean, so I'll do it to you as well. Adonis has not changed much. Maybe a little gray, a little less hair, but the smile's the same.
Yeah.
So, yes, for the crowd. We'll pass that around later. You can thank Chuck again. So, as I said, Adonis grew up in Tampa, and as a Tampa native, a few things that come along with the territory. One, you have to be able to explain Gasparilla to people who aren't from Tampa. I think we could probably do that. 2, you have to be able to identify your favorite hole-in-the-wall Cuban restaurant. My grandmother used to take me to Lincoln Restaurant off Columbus Drive, which, strange name for a Cuban restaurant, but it's Lincoln Avenue, so anyway. And then 3, you have to suffer the ups and downs of being a Buccaneer fan. And over the 30 years Adonis has been at OUC, we've shared the pain and the very brief joy that goes along with being a Bucs fan. So it's not looking too good this year, Adonis. But anyway, I digress. After graduation, Adonis went north to FAMU to get his engineering degree, and he came to OUC through the co-op program. He's been on the transmission team for his entire career and has progressed to the senior engineer position. And I'm going to digress again for a moment. As I mentioned, Adonis is a football fan. He's also a pretty good athlete. So an annual, I'll call it a rite of passage that we used to do, is we would have a Super Bowl party with a pre-Super Bowl touch football game. Clint may remember this. And I'll tell you, we played a lot of years, and then we all started pulling muscles and getting old, and finally had to put an end to it. But when we did, Adonis was there for probably the best pre-Super Bowl touch football game ever. It was pouring rain, muddy field. I think there were 6 of us there who showed up to play, and it was awesome. And I don't remember who won, but we had a good time, and no one went to the hospital. Not that year. There's another story. So should talk about some work stuff. Adonis has a reputation for being the guy who has a calming influence, which means he's the first pick for going out to talk with customers who may be less than happy. And that could be somebody that our transmission lines just run by their property, or, you know, mowing, or who knows what it might be. But Adonis is really good at that. He's also our resident transmission real estate expert and is relied on for his skills in the E1 system. And when I asked Adonis, he's laughing about that, Adonis, create that work order, please. Yeah. What project he was involved in that he felt was most important to OUC. He talked about the 1728 transmission line, which is the path from Stanton down to St. Cloud North that creates that path to connect to the St. Cloud system. Adonis has served on the Defined Contribution Pension Committee for a number of years. He's been on the board of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes for about 5 years. He enjoys fantasy football, although both of our teams not doing well this year. And he and T enjoy traveling to tennis matches and jazz festivals. And I am trying to convince him that pickleball is the wave of the future. Not sure I've made much progress on that. He still likes his tennis. So, Adonis, on behalf of OUC, I'd like to congratulate you on 30 years of service. Thank you very much. Okay. Mark Hoover, come on down. You're the next contestant. All right, Mark. Mark's start date was 12/12 of '83. So that means
Oh, really?
today is his
Wow.
actual 40-year
Wow.
anniversary. So congratulations. Yeah. And Mark only looks like he's 50, so he probably started when he was 10. Yeah. Mark flying solo today. His wife of 40 years, Lynn, coincidentally 40 years, was unable to make it today. Mark has 2 kids, although it's kind of hard to call them kids. Matt is 37, and now, you know, Clint, right? We've been here almost 35 years. We remember these. Yeah, we're getting old. And Lindsay is 35, and Mark has 3 grandchildren, Zeke, Collins, and Malcolm. So Mark was born in Miami, another Florida guy. We got 4, count me. But he grew up in Gainesville. So I can't fault Mark for deciding to be a Gator. Again, common theme here. Sorry, Gators. And he received his degree in power engineering from the University of Florida in 1983, and he proceeded to look for opportunities in the utility space. So Mark said, I'm going to apply to GRU, I'm going to apply to BC, I'm going to apply to Tampa Electric, FPL. Not sure about progress, but Mark got a call from OUC, decided he was that job, and he got the next day a letter from GRU and FPL offering him jobs as well. Now, the fact that Mark received letters, not phone calls or emails, because they didn't, you know, shows how long this has been, that you actually send an offer letter and you didn't call the person and say, hey, we're going to give you an offer. Now, Mark had already decided he was going to OUC, so good for us, he did not back down and go somewhere else. With 40 years of service, Mark has achieved a level of dedication to OUC that few will ever see. And based on my semi-thorough research, I believe Mark is in the top 5 of active employees for Lincoln. And I need a new microphone. When I first started at OUC, Mark was already well on his way to being the downtown underground guy. The man, I get the man. He also designed many of the historic lighting systems in neighborhoods around the downtown area. So from 1983 to 2003, the first half, 20 years, Mark was involved in the design of service for 14 buildings in the downtown area, ranging from 7 to 30 stories in height. Mark told me at the completion of each project, he would go to the top of the building to enjoy the view. I asked him how he was able to gain access to the tops of these buildings, and he declined to incriminate himself. But Mark is very athletic, so he maybe used those suction cups to climb up the outside or parachuted in or something, but he did not give me the answer. In addition to those tall buildings downtown, Mark has also designed duct lines, participated in streetscape projects, and designed numerous other commercial services across our system. All right, yeah, one other page here. With a 40-year career, you get more time. So we only hit the halfway mark. So in the last 20 years, Mark has been working in construction and material standards, where he evaluates new products and materials for use on the distribution system. And when we select those new items, Mark helps with the education, training, and provides technical assistance to our construction workforce. He's the chair and historian, as he calls it, of the Florida Electric Exchange, which is a statewide municipal utility organization that focuses on optimizing material standards. And when not working, Mark enjoys playing with his grandkids, home renovation, and maintaining his rental properties, some of which are in historic downtown neighborhoods. And I don't have it in my notes, Mark, but I'm not sure if you ever actually bought a new car in your life. Mark was the guy who would always get that used car and fix it up and go from car to car. But anyway. There you go, 98 Camry. Classic. For sporting activities, he enjoys surfing, hiking, technical rock climbing, ultimate frisbee, snowboarding, and kayaking. And I believe Mark may have participated in one of those aforementioned pre-Super Bowl football games. But ultimate frisbee was really his sport. And I have played ultimate frisbee with Mark, not recently, but back in the day. And it requires not only frisbee throwing skills, but speed and endurance, which Mark very much has. Show the level he achieved. He played for 10 years was it the Grandmasters team? Something like that. As we get old, they give extra titles. That competed in the national championship level and finished fourth in one of those years. So pretty impressive. So Mark, thank you. 40 years of service. Congratulations. And OUC thanks you.
Another time.
I couldn't find any pictures of Mark on the internet.
Yeah, I wondered about that. I wondered about that. All right, thank you for that, Ken. All right, I'd like to now read a resolution of appreciation in honor of Commissioner Calvett, as today is his last commission meeting. Commissioner Calvett's second and last term ends on December 31st. So please bear with me. Oh God, I'm going to need my glasses. All right, resolution of appreciation. Whereas the OUC wishes to express our heartfelt appreciation to Cesar Calvet for his leadership and support while serving on OUC's governing board as commissioner and president. Mr. Calvet joined OUC's board in 2016 and was unanimously elected president in January 2019. After completing his 2-year presidential term ending December 2020, Mr. Calvet remained on the board as commissioner, the position he will leave on December 31st, 2023. He will be deeply missed. Whereas, while Mr. Calvet served as president of the board, he supported a series of transformational initiatives at OUC, most notably our Connected 2025 strategic plan, which established our mission, vision, and values, and pledged net zero CO2 emissions by 2050, with interim goals of 50% by 2030, 75% reduction by 2040. Additionally, he championed OUC's Electric Integrated Resource Plan, or EIRP, a commitment to build a more sustainable energy grid by closing the Unit 1 coal plant by 2025, converting the Unit 2 coal plant to natural gas by 2027, made possible with the purchase of the Osceola generating station to mitigate solar production fluctuations. Whereas Mr. Calvet's stewardship as president supported OUC's expansion of utility-scale solar power with the opening of the Taylor Creek and Harmony Solar Energy Centers. Our groundbreaking 20-year service agreement with the Greater Orlando Aviation Authority, which includes service for chilled water, backup generation, and floating solar. The launch of several vehicle electrification initiatives, among them our partnership in Lynx's e-bus program, installation of EV charging dispensers across the city, and our announcement to build the Robinson Mobility Recharge Hub in downtown Orlando. Whereas his steady leadership helped guide OUC through formidable challenges brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, with OUC responding to the crisis with a board-approved $12.1 million aid package that lowered fuel rates, offered utility bill payment assistance to financially distressed residential and small business customers, and steered the organization through water reduction to ensure liquid oxygen used in water purification was redirected for COVID medical treatments of critically ill patients in local hospitals. Whereas during Mr. Calvet's presidency, OUC was named the 2020 most trusted brand among U.S. electric utilities, setting the stage for us to reclaim the honor in 2022 and in 2023. His reign also marked navigating rising fuel costs while strengthening in OUC's financial health and higher bond ratings, and the beginning of our efforts to support diversity, equity, and inclusion practices in the interest of fostering a more inclusive working environment. Whereas, as an immigrant from Cuba, Mr. Calvet sought to make a positive impact in his new homeland by serving in the U.S. Marine Corps and earning a college degree in business administration. While building a successful career as a bank executive in Central Florida, he also found time to give back to the community through public service with stints as chairman of the Greater Orlando Aviation Authority and president of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Additionally, he served on numerous boards, including the Orlando Orange County Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Economic Development Commission of Metro Orlando, and the Florida Housing Finance Corporation. Now, therefore, be it resolved, Mr. Calvet's service to OUC's board as a commissioner and president, as well as to the Central Florida community and our country, has made a positive and lasting difference. Be it further resolved, the Orlando Utilities Commission is beholden to Cesar Calvet for his leadership, loyalty, and friendship, and extends our best wishes to him. In witness whereof, board members Berta Gross, President, Larry Mills, First Vice President, Roger Chapin, Second Vice President, and Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer, and OUC General Manager and CEO Clint Bullock. Would you mind joining us for a picture? I think we'll have more to say here at the end of the meeting. All righty. Ms. Froney, would you like to present the next community recognition?
President Gross, Commissioners, Mayor Clint, once again, OUC has received the Building Strong Communities Award. Whoops, to do this. The Building Strong Communities Award from the Florida Municipal Electric Association, or FMEA. In our centennial year, OUC received this accolade. Did I mess that up? She's going to take care of it for me. There we go. Thank you. You can go to the next slide. There we go. Some images, which I'm going to talk about now, are on the screen. But in our centennial year, we received this accolade for our continuous involvement in revitalizing communities, in our financial assistance programs, in our sustainability programs, and just our outreach programs throughout the community. Some examples of this include our Robinson Street Hub, our 21-port high-speed charging hub in downtown Orlando, conducting over 3,100 free home energy and water audits, finding opportunities for our customers to save electricity and water and money, providing over 1,500 households with utility bill assistance relief through our OUC Cares program, which is administered by the Heart of Florida United Way. The Building Strong Communities Award also recognizes public power utilities for their neighborhood revitalization and education outreach efforts. So, for example, with us, we focus a lot of revitalization support in zip code 32805, or Paramore, as we all know it, through our Empowerment Zone Committee. Part of this initiative includes a pre-apprenticeship program that you all have heard about before, which is a free 4-month training program that introduces young men and women to careers in the construction industry, providing them with an opportunity for higher paying careers. Additionally, OUC relaunched our Emerging Talent Internship Program. We had 22 students join us as interns this summer. 14 of them continued through the fall semester with us, very exciting, and an additional 18 interns joined us just to start this fall. So these are just a few of the programs that explain what has contributed to us receiving this award. I'm also pleased to point out that 19 public power utilities received this award across the state of Florida, really demonstrating the power in public power, the value we provide our communities, and what a difference we make in the communities that we serve. I also want to point out that OUC has received the Building Strong Community Award every year since its inception in 2015. Thank you, Commissioners.
Oh, Ms. Osani.
Hello. I too have a slide. I believe it'll be coming up here in a second. I'm here to talk about the OUC Half Marathon. On December 2nd, more than 70 OUC employees and family members participated in the 47th running of the OUC Orlando Half Marathon and Track Shack Lake Eola 5K. It's considered one of the Southeast's premier and most popular road races. It starts and ends in picturesque Lake Eola Park. It offers 4,000 participants a scenic tour of our city beautiful, and it's known for its relatively flat course, which makes it a fast course, and the favorable weather here in Orlando. It attracts world-class runners, local athletes, and beginners alike. OUC is proud of our legacy in support of this thriving community race. It's one of the reasons why we've been the presenting sponsor since 1999, making this our 24th year as the presenting sponsor. New this year, Track Shack partnered with WESH 2 as a live broadcast partner. It was actually, they were practicing for the Olympic trials that are coming later in 2024. This included the first ever live broadcast of the half marathon itself, and it really highlighted us as a running destination. We had the privilege of being featured twice, once in a live segment before the race, and then we taped a segment ahead of the race that was played as a break, which highlighted our sustainability efforts for the race and in general. In line with our continued commitment to environmental stewardship, we worked along with Track Shack to help this be Florida's only sustainable race. We tapped H2OUC from hydrants along the course, and that eliminates the need for hundreds of plastic gallon jugs. And it's just one of the reasons why the event is silver certified by the Council for Responsible Sport. This race was also a monumental one, as OUC is commemorating 100 years as the hometown utility. Also being honored for their centennial this year is the Orange County Library System, which I happen to learn from Tom Tart, our historian. The reason we have the same anniversary is because we were the same bill at the Florida legislature in 1923, which is a fun fact. So the Orange County Library System was invited to join us on the corner of Robinson Street and Lake Eola. And together we unveiled the dually branded electric book bike for the first time. You can kind of see it there. It's one next to the medals. This bike will be zooming around neighborhoods to showcase STEM-inspired reads to empower our community and electrify young minds. Runners and their families also had the opportunity to learn even more about energy and water efficiency in our tiny green home, which, as a reminder, is a partnership between OUC, the City of Orlando, and the Science Center. It's a 200 square foot home designed to increase the awareness of sustainability options for our residents. Alongside the tiny green home was a branded all-electric OUC Ford F-150 Lightning truck, which is helping to electrify our own fleet. It's a beautiful day and one of my favorite events of the year, and I'd like to thank the marketing team for activating this space along with support from the facilities team and the fleet team. And I'd like to thank the OUC employees who volunteered their time that day to work the booth for us. They had little hard hats. It was adorable. On behalf of OUC and Track Shack, I would like to present an honorary medal and shirt to you, President Gross. And Clint, if you could please join us for the photo. I'm coming over this way.
Look at that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Another accolade I didn't earn. Thank you. All right. Thank you for that also, Janice. All right, let's move to the affirmative items portion of the agenda. Mr. Bullock, before we consider affirmative items, do we have any requests from the public to speak other than this one from Mr. Blount? And I'm sure he wants to speak towards the end.
That is correct. Nothing for affirmative items.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Do you have any comments or presentations regarding the affirmative items?
I do, President Gross and Commissioners. I would like to just highlight A25. I'm going to ask Janice Osani to come up related to this agenda item. I think I want to highlight this as just a reminder to the commissioners of how we go about receiving, customer feedback and really measure customer satisfaction. We do it in several different ways, but this one is really personal to me because it really talks about the interaction we've had with a customer within the past 7 days. And so I'm going to let Janice give you a bit of an overview of what it's about and how we measure it and who we partner with as it ties into this specific agenda item. So Janice?
Sure. Thank you, Clint. President Groves, Commissioners, Clint. This has jumped ahead a little bit. Can we go back to the title slide? That'd be great. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. So just a little bit of history. Transactional surveys we've been doing them for years, probably decades, in the customer experience area. But in 2020, as part of the reorg of the customer experience office, the customer and marketing office, CCMO, Linda's area, for more optimal efficiencies, the work moved to my area into the marketing research and insights team. It's still highly collaborative between the two areas, and in fact, if maybe you all stump me with a question today, I may lean on my colleague, Luz Aviles, to help me with an answer. So as Clint mentioned, these are when customers interact with us, and that's the primary reason why we do this. We want to assess and measure residential and small customer satisfaction after somebody has interacted with us, whether through a web channel, a voice automated phone system, or in person with either a rep or a field auditor or a field representative. We can understand the customer's experience. It also allows us to identify and flag improvement for opportunities for follow-up and resolution, making us better and making the experience better for customers. And it helps to monitor and inform OUC's Connected 2025 strategic plan, customer pillar performance. We actually look at this result quarterly as an executive team and keep track of how it's doing. Back in 2019, in January, the Customer Transactional Survey Services agenda item was approved by the board. It was for 5 years, and it was awarded to a company called Market Strategies International. It was for 5 years and includes 2 one-year renewal opportunities. And in 2019, MSI changed their name to Escalent, which is why you hear me using that name today. Their responsibilities are listed here. They conduct surveys by both email and phone. It's typically 2 to 3 days after a transaction, but it could occur up to 14 days after. The types of services, or really the channels, are listed in the green box at the bottom. There's 2 primary categories, the first being outage. This is if a customer does experience an outage with us. We track them separately because we want to understand their experience once they've reached out to us. They might have received an alert, they might have reached out to talk to us, and this is how we keep track of that experience. Non-outage is pretty much anything else. It could be a start, stop, move service request. It could be a question about their bill. Maybe a customer has experienced a water leak and they have questions. Perhaps they want to know when they're going to get their deposit back. It's really any other time a customer has reached out to us through the channels that you see listed here. Escalent also delivers ad hoc results to us. They include quantitative and qualitative information. The verbatim responses, the word-for-word responses are sent into us, and they are looked at closely. And that enables us to find root causes to issues and maybe help us improve a process. They also provide monthly and annual reports to us 2 times a year. In fact, I just saw a presentation yesterday, Luz and I both did, on how we're doing midpoint through the year. One of the newer services is a closed loop case management reporting. Anytime a customer reports on a scale of 1 to 10 that their interaction was a 0 to 6, it is flagged, it is sent into our customer team, and they look into it right away and they work to resolve the issue. And then they improve processes and they work to ensure that it doesn't continue to happen. Finally, they facilitate the OUC.com feedback tool on our website. If you go to OUC.com, and you might see it on other websites that you've been to, it's a little tab that says feedback. Customers can click on that and tell us in the moment, perhaps if the website is missing information. Sometimes we find that they're just giving us information, or perhaps they need help. It is also an opportunity for something to be flagged and sent in to us for immediate review, should that need arise. So switching, here we go. So here are the results. You can see on the left the scale. The scale is showing 5 to 8.5 on a 10-point scale. And along the bottom is the last 4 years. In blue, just above the years, are our strategic plan goals. So in 2021, our goal was to achieve 7.5, which we did, achieving 7.61. In 2022, the goal was to achieve 7.7, which we did, achieving 7.75. And in fiscal year 23, the goal was 7.8, which we just missed, achieving a 7.71. Despite this drop, this small drop, we did see year-over-year improvements in all the residential channels that I mentioned to you, specifically email interactions. That's probably where we made our biggest effort to improve the experience of a customer who sends an email into us and our response time getting back to them via email and those interactions. Also on the IVR and with our phone agents, there's been improvements. Same for commercial overall non-outage. There's been a lot of improvement there, specifically around our internal phone agents. Where we saw satisfaction fall was in the outage category. And outage is our highest performing category, but it did take a dip this year. And what we have found is that even though we've had less outages, in 2022 we had 2,300, and this year it's around 2,100, what is happening is it's taking longer for us to restore power. Attila and his team are aware, and they are already working on solutions, and they've implemented some, and we're going to see improvements there. It could also be that a customer has had a long wait time, perhaps their ETR changed, perhaps their ETR was wrong. All of this goes back to the team that runs those systems and to the operations team to work through improvements. In addition to this, all utilities have experienced a decline in satisfaction for their transactional results as well as their general customer satisfaction results. This is primarily due to prices, not just utility prices, but all prices and inflation. More and more customers are using credit. More and more customers are, dealing with debt and payment issues. So we're just seeing it across the entire industry. What that then turns into is if a customer has any kind of bad interaction, they feel value has declined. So we really want to make sure we're providing a great value, and we're working through options for that. Another big trend we're seeing in the results, they mentioned it yesterday, is customers want more rate options. So OUC is already actively working on providing that. Commissioners, my ask for you today is to initiate a scope change in the conforming change order to Escalent in the amount of $302,232, bringing the total PO to just over $1.2 million. Do you have any questions for me?
Questions? Just maybe my one question, roughly how many calls, transaction calls do we get?
Do you mean actual transactions or just phone calls?
Well, if the sample size is 4,400, what is the total population?
On the website, we experience millions of interactions a year.
Millions?
The call center gets tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands calls. 60,000 calls.
60,000 calls, and the 4,400 sample size is just on calls, or that's a combination of emails and
everything.
phone calls? Okay, but statistically significant, they think?
Yes.
Escalent thinks, okay.
Correct.
How does that compare? Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I wasn't supposed to say
please.
anything. We made a pact that we wouldn't ask any questions and prolong the meeting.
Oh.
But since she broke the pact, I'm going to jump in now. How does that compare, 60,000 calls to other?
Utilities of our size?
Yeah.
Luz, how does that compare to other utilities of our size?
Our call volumes are usually higher just because we have more services. I mean, as compared
Okay.
to, if you think about Duke Energy, while they have more customers, they're one service where we have electric, water.
And water and, yeah, okay.
Garbage. We provide billing services for other entities, so that creates more calls into our center.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you, Luz. Any other questions?
No.
Okay, keeping your packs.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Commissioners, I don't have any other items to highlight unless there's any questions for me.
And there are no one from the public wants to speak at this point on affirmative items?
Correct.
All right,
Move the affirmative items. Second.
we have a motion, we've got a second, let's take a vote. All in favor of the affirmative items?
Aye.
All right, anyone opposed? No, motion passes, thank you all. All right, I also understand there's no new business today,
No new business.
so we'll move on to presentations. Ms. Bernay, do you have a presentation for us on financials?
Sure, good afternoon, President Gross, Commissioners, Clint, Mayor Dyer. I have one slide, and I'm not even going to touch the button so they can take care of it. These are the preliminary results from November. You can see that we are slightly behind on electric revenue. We are seeing a dip in consumption. We are hoping that that might change a little bit in December as we have some cooler weather, but the weather has been really pleasant and nice. The windows have been open. So yes, very good for the customers, a little bit of a headwind for us, but we hope to see that turn around. Overall, on the bottom line, it looks like we're just trailing slightly to income before contributions consistent with this number. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Sorry that I'm going to break your prayer,
Oh, great.
but question, the water, chill water and all that, they increase over budget. Is that more water or chill water?
More water.
More water?
We had lower than expected rainfall, so we were seeing an increase in water revenues. We are also planning and did include in the rates this year a little bit of a headwind, a little bit of a tailwind to allow us to add water reserves. We have been a little short on reserves for water, but we're going to wait until we see what happens in the winter months before we actually book any reserves. But right now, this is strictly water driving it.
When we say winter, from our standpoint, is through when?
Probably through April, through the drier season. And then when we get to the summer months and rain hits, usually we don't fall too far from budget during those months unless we have a really long dry spell.
Thank you. Anything else over here? Is that it?
That is it for
Thank
me.
you. All right. Thank you, Ms. Brunet. Mr. Browder, do you have any legal issues to report? All right. Is there anyone besides Mr. Blount that wants to speak and address the board? That's it. Mr. Blount, would you love to come up here and address the board? I'll remind you, you don't need any reminding, but please state your name, address, and whether you're an OUC customer. You have 3 minutes, but please. And the commissioners may direct questions to our officers or staff to address now or if appropriate. We'll contact you with a response if you have any questions to ask of us. Please.
I am Jonathan Sebastian Blount, and 1786 West Columbia, a very, very proud OUC customer. It is very, very inoften that we as African Americans get a chance to be presented in a city in a very, very prominent and impactful way. Thanks to the vision and the commitment of our mayor, we have a lot of that here in the city of Orlando. And one such person, I think, deserves this specific mention because he represented the passion and the vision that OUC continues to display in its community outreach. And this man is Thomas Chapman. And Thomas is dedicated in the Caribbean Passport's November issue, which has a 60,000 monthly digital impact. And I just want to just tell you a little bit. And this came from our esteemed mayor, celebrating the life of Thomas Chapman. Earlier this year, we lost a visionary advocate and friend with the passing of Thomas Chapman, who served as the longtime executive director of the City of Orlando's Downtown Development Board and Community Redevelopment Agency. Thomas was a true public servant, known for his love and dedication to downtown Orlando and his love of fedoras, which he and I shared. Since joining the city in 2007, Thomas oversaw economic development, retail and business recruitment, marketing and special events programming, and housing development within the downtown CRA area. He helped lead downtown's growth over the years, impacting so many through his enthusiasm, positivity, and kindness. Thomas called it, as you can see, this impact was firsthand with the Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts, Creative Village, and the Amway Center. And he served on many, many boards, and he was certainly one of a kind, and it's been an honor and a privilege to work alongside him. And I also, in this same issue, issued my own tribute to Thomas because I had the privilege and honor of him calling me a friend. And I refer to the time when my daughter and I, when he took ill, and we went to the hospital to see him. And he said, boy, Jonathan, you know, when I do it, I really do it big. He said, I flatlined, and they had to bring me back. And that was just one of a number of illnesses that he overcame during his lifetime. So Thomas stands to me as a real stalwart example of leadership, of vision, and passion for the city, which OUC continues to exemplify in all of its community outreach and activity. And I'm privileged and pleased to say today, once again, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Blount, and I know on behalf of everyone, we wish you a very happy holiday season here. Thank you for those comments. All right, Mr. Bullock, over to you for comments.
Thank you. I do have a few items I would like to share with the board. I'm going to ask Tom, there he is. Come on up. Tom is our new products and marketing development director, and Tom Nilsson is going to give a bit of an overview. But before he does that, I'm very excited about this update we're sharing with the board. It's again another example of the strong commitment by OUC related to electric vehicles. You've heard us talk about ride and drives with residential, and this for the first time was specific to commercial fleet. And I will say that we continue to take an approach to think beyond just our territory, beyond our region. And Tom's going to talk about an example of this project where we partner with other utilities in the state of Florida. Because we recognize in this discussion, as we're working with fleet managers, they need to be able to move from community to community in different parts of the regions in the state of Florida. And if we just focus on our specific territory, we're really missing the whole picture. And so this is going to be a great presentation. It's a great partnership. It just shows the state of Florida and utilities working together to advance this conversation on commercial EVs. And so I'm going to go ahead and stop, as much as I'd like to perhaps keep going and let Tom give you a nice little overview of this event and what we did here in the state of Florida. So Tom.
Thank you. President Gross, Commissioners, Mr. Mayor, Clint. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about some of the work we've done with our commercial fleet ride and drive just recently. OUC has championed the adoption of EVs through Central Florida. As part of our Connected 2025 strategy, we are committed to investing more than $45 million to support the transformation of the transportation industry from internal combustion engines to electric vehicles. Our goal is to see 40,000 registered electric vehicles in OUC territory by the year 2025, which would have an impact of more than 200,000 tons of carbon reduction, contributing to OUC's overall goal of achieving net zero CO2 emissions reduction goal by 2050. For many of our customers, EV technology is new. They've not had the chance to experience driving an EV for themselves. Pre-COVID, we hosted ride and drive events allowing residential customers specifically the opportunity to take the wheel and learn firsthand. This has proven to be a very successful way of helping customers make that decision to choose an electric vehicle over some of the other options that they have. We've leveraged that learning to promote electric vehicles in Central Florida commercial fleet managers as well. OUC's marketing and new products team recently organized a commercial fleet ride and drive event at the SunTrax driving facility in Auburndale, Florida. Oops, there we go, thank you. At this event, held November 7th and 9th, we cooperatively met with the Florida Department of Transportation, who actually owns the facility. It's a fantastic facility dedicated to advancing autonomous vehicle driving. And we were very lucky to be able to take advantage of that facility for the work that we did as well. EVs now represent 8% of the new car sales in the state of Florida today. And here in Orange County specifically, there are in excess of 25,000 registered vehicles. EVs that have registered as electric vehicles for fleet operations are now at 54,000 vehicles, which is an increase from the 500 vehicles we saw registered just a year ago.
500.
Yes, 500 to 5,400 vehicles. I'm sorry. EV fleet offers load growth opportunity for us as OUC, but it also requires us to understand when these vehicles are going to charge and where they're going to be domiciled. The Ride and Drive event was specifically held so that we could learn about our customers' plans to make that transition to electrify their fleets and help them meet with all of the vendors associated with the ecosystem, the EV ecosystem itself. Help them understand their options and process for infrastructure development, providing the necessary information that they need to justify a pilot for their vehicles at their sites. This event was part of a larger statewide effort organized in partnership with our fellow utilities, including the City of Tallahassee, the JEA, Jacksonville Electric Authority, the Tampa Electric Company, Lakeland Electric, and Seminole Electric Cooperative. The Electrification Coalition and Electric Car Insider, two organizations focused on accelerating the adoption of EVs, helped OUC organize and staff the event. Sponsors and exhibitors included the original equipment manufacturers themselves, electric vehicle supply equipment manufacturers, leasing companies, vehicle upfitters, and fleet telematics software providers. We're very grateful to NovaCharge, to Hertz, Nextran, Alta, Panasonic, EV Transport, Centro, AWL Electricity, Blink, NXU, and BTC Power, who all took part in the event to meet with fleet managers and help them understand the greater EV ecosystem associated with making that transition. The vehicles we offered customers the opportunity to drive included an F-150 Ford Lightning, a Ford Transit van, and a Mach-E SUV, 2 Rivian pickups, an international box truck, and an Orange County Public Schools who displayed an EV school bus for folks to examine. We were also grateful to have Centro, a Jacksonville-based EV manufacturer, display both a small utility vehicle and an electric truck chassis. Attendees drove several of the fleet-capable EVs, light-duty vehicles, pickup trucks, and box trucks in a safe and organized manner on tracks that simulate real-world conditions. They learned about the potential savings achievable running an EV fleet and the requirements in terms of cost, electric infrastructure needs, and more. OUC was very pleased to host 85 interested fleet operators, vendors, and policymakers over the 3-day event. Among the fleet managers attending were representatives from Orlando Health, Universal Orlando Resort, Central Florida Expressway Authority, the Department of Veterans Affairs, Valencia College, Geico, Coca-Cola, the City of Orlando, and multiple Orange County government departments. Additionally, those who attended were offered an analysis of their current fleet by OUC staff to identify opportunities for electrification deployment. November 8th was a policy day, featuring several presentations discussing fleet transitions, especially for public entities. We were pleased to have OUC President Britta Gross speak in her capacity as Director of Transportation with the Electric Power Research Institute about the work underway to help build out data sets for charging infrastructure deployment. OUC's fleet supervisor, Brian Fry, as well as representatives from Hertz, Lynx, and the City of Orlando, spoke about their experience firsthand running an EV as part of a fleet. The EV Ride and Drive served as part of a larger effort to build relationships with fleet managers so that we can understand their timeframes and better assist in electrifying their fleets. From the event, we received 10 leads from organizations contemplating the transition relatively soon. We're working with our key accounts team and distribution planning teams to follow up with those 10 customers along with the other customers that attended. We feel this event was very successful in demonstrating the capabilities of electric fleets. We believe that while other ride and drive events have been shared between municipalities, this may have been the first statewide event shared between utilities. We look forward to holding future events. We've prepared a video to help you experience what it was like to be there.
We're hosting a commercial ride and drive event. It's part of a statewide event, which started in Tallahassee, moved on to Jacksonville, and now is here for 3 days in Central Florida. This is where our fleet managers come to test drive vehicles. They need to see whether these vehicles are suitable for their purpose, suitable for what they do on a day-to-day basis before they start looking at procurement. OUC is really all in on electric vehicle transition for our fleets. So it's important for us to sponsor events like this so that our fleet managers can take this as a trial. We're also supplying them with a lot of information that helps them make the business case for the transition. OUC is really taking the lead here in electrification. We are known as a leader within the state and within the nation on looking at all the aspects of electrification for fleets. Back in our 2025 strategy, we committed $45 million to the transition of electric vehicles. We are seeing some great inroads into that at this point in time. We're one of the leading cities in the state of Florida and in our nation in electric vehicle adoption.
Nice.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Nice.
Happy to answer any questions.
Questions, anybody? Comments?
Is this going to be an annual event, biannual, every 5 years? What do you envision?
We're looking to understand what's the best way to roll it out. We do believe that we need to have a couple of additional events as fleets begin to get into that understanding, trying to understand what it takes to make that transition. We also feel that as other fleets begin to demonstrate that it's possible, that there'll be just kind of word of mouth that will help us get that out there as well.
Did any fleets take you up on your wonderful offer to do fleet analysis for them? Anyone take you up on that?
We've had 3 fleets approach us, including the Orange County government,
Good.
who brought several fleets to attend. So there's a lot of folks who are ready to make the change.
Fleets just understood that and maybe just find a way to promote that, because fleets don't know they don't know what's going on right now, and they need the utilities to help them through the sizing, appropriate sizing, optimizing of the load. That's good. Thank you. That was great. I love that ad. I didn't know about that.
Thank you.
Nice
Anything
track,
else?
nice track.
Very nice track.
Yeah,
very nice
I
track.
know that Tom said it, I wrote down it simulates real-world conditions. I don't drive in the real world on inclines that look like this with a blind intersection, and you trust that the road continues coming down. It's a really good development track.
It's
really
fantastic.
good. So well done, it's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Tom and Pete, and Orlando and Eva and Janice, and there's so many that were involved. President Gross, thank you for being a part of this event in partnership with the city. And again, I think it's just a great example of what we're trying to do and thinking beyond just our customers and our service territory. So great effort, really proud of that. I do want to also acknowledge a congratulations or an order to an executive that recently retired in April. Perhaps he's at home watching the meeting as a retired individual, but perhaps maybe not. But I do want to acknowledge and just share with each of you that Jan Asprew, our previous COO, was acknowledged this Saturday, and he was honored with the prestigious Hispanic Community Lifetime Achievement Award from Don Quixote event based on Hispanic Chamber Commerce of Metro Orlando and Prospera. It's an annual recognition for individuals who've made significant and lasting contributions in the development and empowerment of Hispanic communities here in Central Florida. We all know the impact that Jan has made, both chairing Prospera and the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and we certainly know Luz is following in his footprints, and she's extremely engaged in the Hispanic community as well as those boards. Jan was the very first Hispanic executive that was vice president, and then of course became the COO. Again, Luz continues to represent and follow in his footsteps, representing the Hispanic community, and we feel strongly about it. I can't see her, she's there. But again, we recognize how important it is here at OUC to make sure that we're engaged in that community, understand that community, partner with that community. It's certainly a big part of our community here in Orlando. So really just wanted to share with the board, and it was a great presentation for Jan and his entire family. It's certainly quite an honor to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award. I was proud to be there, and many other executives here in the room were a part of that. Luz was up on stage and had a couple presentations that evening. So I wanted to share that, and really, you know, on behalf of all 1,200 employees, we wanted to say a big congratulations to Jan Asprey. Also wanted to say congratulations to the mayor on the election. So looking forward to continuing to work with Mayor Dyer. And I also just want to acknowledge Commissioner Calvet. And on behalf of the 1,200 employees, thank you for your 8 years of service. We know it's not easy. Being a commissioner takes a lot of time and commitment, heart and dedication. You perhaps might win the award, but we got you up in a transmission bucket truck. So we thank you for that. We got you out to power plant. And that means a lot to the employees when you take some time out of your busy schedule and just go and say hello, shake a hand, acknowledge for what they're doing. It goes, you know, certainly a long way. And I just want to, you know, acknowledge you personally for the support you've provided me, for the many lessons and the conversations that we've had. You'll certainly be deeply missed. You've had an impact on this organization. You're a friend, and you certainly know you can call any of us anytime moving forward. So thank you for your service, for sure. And lastly, I just want to again say happy holidays, happy safe holidays to everyone, and thank you all for your services. Hope everyone has a safe holiday. And that is it for me.
Thank you. All right, Commissioner comments. I don't know where to start really. Mayor, would you like to go first?
Sure, why not? I likewise would like to thank Caesar for his service the last 8 years on the OUC board and many other boards, including the Airport Authority that I also had the opportunity to serve with him there. I know you're probably not finished and looking for another board somewhere that you can lend your expertise to, but we value the service that you have so valiantly given to OUC the last 8 years. I would like to wish Commissioner Chapin well on his birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday.
And actually at the city, we lead a birthday thing, so how about happy birthday to you?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Roger. Happy birthday to you.
No proclamation?
No problem.
Oh, here, wait, we've got one.
It's funny you mention that. Only years that ended 0. And then, as Clint did, I'd like to wish everybody a happy holiday season. And if you have not been out to Lake Eola, we have really stepped up our game this year. There's a trail of lights that you don't want to miss. There, you can actually, well, not quite look out this windows, but there's a great exhibit in front of City Hall, one in front of Dr. Phillips, one at the SunTrust Plaza, of course, all the way around Lake Eola. We're going to have a drone show on the 23rd with over 500 drones that'll form different decorations in the sky. I guess there's a Merry Market every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. Went last Sunday night because of the rain, but that's definitely worth seeing. There's free movies. Pretty much everything we have out there is free other than the food and drink that you might purchase. So please come and experience that at the end of the year. Merry Christmas, happy holidays.
Thank you for the birthday nod. And while I know every year, you know, you get a little older, I know I'm not the youngest guy in the room anymore, although sometimes I feel like the youngest guy in the room. But I do remember growing up in this community. I'm born and raised here, always looking up to individuals in the community And particularly those individuals who were not elected, right? But still found ways to lead in this community. And I think of people like Jeff Fuquay, I think of people like Joni Sherm, I think of people like Nelson Pender, I think of people like Jim Pugh, and Caesar. You are at the top of that list. And as a young man, again, I've known you for 30 years, through the neighborhood and through interactions with my mother, you were always one of those adults that I looked up to and tried to emulate in getting involved in finding ways and always making a difference, not necessarily through elective office, but sometimes even more effectively through leadership positions. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Commissioner Mills?
There's three things real quick. Always enthusiastic about our community outreach, and I wish to commend the team, 4,000 runners, man, or walkers. That's awesome. So I commend you on that. Very, very interested in the customer transaction surveys, and particularly proud to see that we don't just take a survey and file it, but actively involved in that. So I commend you on that. And then again, Clint, a $45 million investment says we're serious. And so look forward to hearing more on how we're progressing in that area. And then finally, Hail Caesar. That's H-A-I-L. Friend and a brother, I'm going to miss you on the board. No doubt about it. And so we wish you great things in the future.
Thank you.
That's it.
Perfect. Over to you.
But I just make it, a couple of notes here. 8 years, and it's a long time. But really, the last 4 was like a year and a half. Really, the last 4 went by, so fast. And I really want to thank the, management staff, my fellow commissioners, Mayor Dyer, for your support while I've been here. It has, been very enjoyable. And Linda Ferron will, share this with the mayor and, and Clint before came in the meeting, that when I came for the interview for this position, Linda asked me, I said, where are we going to be in 25 years? And I said, oh, I flunk. I'm gone. I'm not a good candidate because I couldn't answer that question. Okay? And now, after the 8 years that I have been here, based on the great planning, I feel that I know where we're going. Going in the right direction, and I thank to all the work here, because not only we're getting the recognition that we got some today, but we care our human assets, and we continue concerned about their health and do programs to make sure they stay healthy. Not only because it costs money, if they don't, but also for a good feeling that we're taking care of, our employees. My last visit to Stanton was last week. Wade and I went around, and I went over to the solar farm, and then went over to our landfill, which is, the ash. And as we were coming back from there from a distance, because I did not want to disrupt their place, so the actual woodpeckers and, Byron's project. And so here, except for the mayor, this is something that took place before the 3 fellow commissioners came in, but I was able to see him from far away, and then Wade showed me a little forest that is there there's a name that is called because they grow out of, no one is putting any seed, they just grow. But the woodpeckers don't like those. They only like the Ritz-Carlton type pine in there. But like I said, that I've always wanted to get close to that, because Byron and I, we talked quite a bit about the woodpeckers and how much those woodpeckers are costing us. But then on my way out I took the elevator after wait an hour finished. Someone came down the stairs, and this individual said, I said, "Are you Commissioner Calvet?" And I said, "Yes, I am." He said, "Well, my name is Todd. I'm a supervisor in the landfill." And he said, "Thank you for what you do for us." And that, right there, just, took me, and I said, I was able to, to respond and say, "Well, thank you for what you do in producing the power. Because if you didn't produce the power, there's nothing for us to manage or distribute." So what the point of that is that staff appreciates when we visit where they work. And, and in my opinion, the Stanton is where, the furthest point, and the one that, but like I said, it meant so much to me, to, that he made that comment about the commission. So it has been a pleasure, a privilege, and an honor to be part of the OUC family. And with that, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Thank you. Thank you for that. All right, ditto on all the other comments. I won't even go into what a great meeting and all the updates we got today. I love everything. Maybe just a couple comments, Cesar, about you and what inspiration you've been. I can't believe you went to Stanton last week and did yet another tour. You've set the bar so high, and I always feel guilty that I don't get around enough. So I think that's the extra distance you go to. You gave it 100%. Just attentive, asking probing questions. I've relied on you, especially for your financial acumen, because I do feel weakest in that area. I don't work in the finance community, and I feel like well, whatever he just said, that's good. I love that you kept probing, and you don't lose focus on that, because I've come to really rely on that. I also wanted to just mention how gracious and how much humility you show in your job. Just what a role model you are. You made the board better because of that, so I really wanted to appreciate you for that. And thank you for your service for 8 years. I don't know if we can applaud. Can we do that right now? Thank you for being such a good role model for others that have followed you. I really appreciate that. And with that, happy holidays to everyone. And without objection, the meeting is adjourned at what I think is 3:21.
Wow.
Thank you all.
That's a record.
Yeah. Last month was fast too, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, that last one was too.
you're going to be missed.